Hello again, everybody. Scott Casper, Tony Ramos, Takedown Media. Today, our very special guest, one of the young guns for Team USA, and I tell you what, a standout win at the University of Iowa. Just absolutely kicked butt. He joins us today. Does Tony Ramos? Tony, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you guys?
First of all, congratulations. Welcome home. Tough road trip to Russia, but man, you made everybody stand up and take notice with your performance in Paris, winning the Grand Prix there. What was that like?
It was, it was exciting because, like you said, we had a tough tournament in Urigan in Russia. You didn't go over there for that, and we had another chance to, right the wrong and get a gold medal and still come home with some victories under your belt when we did go to Paris. So that, it made it that much sweeter to actually go out there, compete, wrestle hard, and win that tournament and be able to come home with a gold medal and, not nothing.
Going over there, you had the opportunity. We talked to Metcalf about this. Being there with your teammates, how great of an experience was that to be able to be a part of?
It was real cool. I mean, every time I've traveled so far, it's maybe been with just one guy, two guys, or even no one when we went to Iran. That was on the Hawkeye Wrestling Club. But it was cool to be able to have guys you're familiar with, guys you can talk to, hang out with, just shoot the shit with. So probably can't say that on air.
Probably.
uh, but it was a good time having all of us there and being able to compete and support each other.
You're watching Takedown Media Late Night with Tony Ramos. For those of you fans out there, we apologize for the language, but things happen. Sometimes things happen. So let's go down this tremendous trip you had to Paris. We know you love traveling. 56 kilos, you picked up a fall over France's Youssef Deliev to set up a semifinal bout with Canada's John Pineda. In your semis, you won 4-1 to secure your medal finish. Talk a little bit about those two bouts. 50-second fall, man, that's a long way to go for a 50-second fall.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty fast. That first match, you usually want to get a good blow in, get it out of you. So, I had to really make sure I was ready to go that second match. I knew, people have said Pineda's been around for a long time. So I needed to be ready to go and ready to wrestle. And that second match, I was ready and, just went out there and did what I do and scored points.
So we go to the finals, top 4-0. Nice job there, a win over Adama Diatta to win your first of hopefully, as we like to say, many international tournaments. What do you think of your overall performance? I mean, not let's throw Siberia away. Let's just focus on Paris. What do you think of your performance overall? What can you improve on?
I think I wrestled solid the whole time. I can improve on, scoring more points. And in that finals match, I was in on the legs 4 times, and they were all 4 push-outs. So, finishing inbounds, getting those 2 takedowns instead of the 1-point push-outs.
Of course, you were over there with Brent Metcalf. He finished in Siberia with silver. A second time he's done that in 3 years. Traveling with Brent Metcalf. You guys have a close camaraderie, being both Hawkeye Wrestling Club guys.
Yeah, I think we're pretty close. It's nice having him around. He's been on the circuit for a long time. He's got a lot of knowledge. So it's kind of like having another coach there also. He gives you reminders, make sure you're comfortable and everything's in order. So it's nice to have him there to help out and, just have that experience of traveling and being overseas.
And that's a big deal to me. I'd like somebody like that to be along with me on a road trip, and I'm sure you offer him the same type of support. We're talking with Tony Ramos, TonyRamos.co. By the way, if you'd like to follow along with Tony and his career online, products and things with his name, his image is all available. You want to be a part of it. Agon 5, Tony Hager, we talk a little bit about Agon 5. It's coming up, and the bout they recently announced was Henry Cejudo versus Tony Ramos, Olympic gold medalist, who now is fighting professionally within the UFC, has had trouble making weight a few times. Now he's agreed to finally wrestle Tony Ramos. This is a match for me, a dream match for me. Man, I want to see this bout.
These are two guys that like to talk a lot, and there should be a lot of good banter going back and forth on Twitter and social media and whatnot. And we all know Tony Ramos backs up almost everything he says. So I'm excited to see that in front of a lot of Iowans, that's for sure.
You guys have put together a neat deal here, Tony. Agon 5 is going to be held where? In Cedar Rapids, right?
Yeah, it's going to be held at the U.S. Cellular Center in Cedar Rapids.
Do we know the exact date? Is it the 3rd or 4th of April?
They're still working on the exact date for the 3rd and 4th. They're in negotiations with Spike TV right now, so they're trying to figure out which day they're going to be able to produce it on live TV. But it's going to be one of those days for sure, and it'll be announced sometime this week is what we've been told.
All right, let's talk a bit about the matchup itself. Cejudo versus Ramos. Ramos versus Cejudo. How do you feel you guys match up? And is this about you wanted to see happen a while ago? I think we would have liked to have seen it in New York at the Grapple at the Garden. What are your thoughts on this matchup? Let's go to Tony Ramos. Tony, you first.
Yeah, you guys cut out there real quick.
Just saying, compare and contrast. What are your thoughts on the matchup between you and Henry?
I'm excited for it, for one. I think this is one of those matches where, you go into a match and people tell you, hey, you got nothing to lose, this, that. Well, I think a match like this, both of us have a lot to lose. There's a lot on the line, especially with, Terry Brands being Henry's old coach, getting him to the Olympics. And everyone knows Terry was a big part of, Henry succeeding those goals. And then, now Terry being my coach and being a big part of helping me to get to where I am today. So, I'm going to know a lot about Henry. Terry knows everything about him. I don't know if Henry's going to know as much about me, so he's going to have to go and watch film. It might be a little tougher for him. But, I'm excited. I know he's fast. I know he's quick. And I know he's going to be prepared for this match, especially with a lot on the line. He wasn't too happy about that interview. I guess Terry did back when he blew weight the first time at his UFC event. But, you got to hold. He's a coach. He's holding you accountable. And, that's Henry's own fault. He should hold himself accountable and not be upset at Terry for that.
Exactly, and you got to hold yourself accountable, and let's talk about that. So what weight class will this bout be under?
I'm going up a little bit. It's going to be a catch weight. Henry's fighting, I think, at 125 a couple weeks beforehand. He didn't want to get back down to around the 130 area, so we're going about, I think the catch weight they're going to make is 133. Who knows if he's going to come in and make weight or not. I don't care. Either way, I'm going to wrestle. He blows weight, I'm still going to wrestle him.
How has your weight been on this international scene, adjusting to that, coming back all the way down?
It's been pretty good. 130 is real nice and easy to get to. It's not a problem for me. I wrestled 133 in college, wasn't cutting much weight. It's when we got to get down to that extra 2 kilos at 25.6, I really have to, work hard at it with my eating, my diet, and, getting those extra workouts in. But it's a good thing we only have to make that 2 or 3 times a year because, the 130 is perfect for me, I think.
Tony Ramos, our guest. You can look for him online, tonyramos.co. You're also on Twitter, Facebook. You want to give those handles out?
Yeah, my Twitter name's @TRam133. Facebook, I know I have a fan page. I'm pretty sure it's just Anthony Ramos or Tony Ramos. I actually don't have control of that right now. And then, that's about all I have for social media. I don't have my own Facebook page.
Okay, but Twitter, obviously, that's something everybody's jumping on these days. We are, and this interview will be live on Twitter, so we'll put that out there. One of the things I wanted to talk to you about is monetizing Tony Ramos, building the brand that is Tony Ramos. And recently, and I'm not going to name company names because I don't want to put them or you on the spot.
Yeah.
But recently, your family, I believe Terry Brands is probably involved in this to some extent as well. But you guys have been in negotiations with major brands, worldwide names, that are very, very interested in you. First of all, you've put in the work to get there, but what's it like sitting in your chair knowing that there is demand for you and your name?
It's awesome. It's exciting. I mean, that's how I'm going to make a living is wrestling and getting these sponsors. And, I got a family I got to support, especially with a little one on the way. So excited about that. The other thing that excites me is, it's starting to show that wrestling is, coming up as a major sport with these big name brands starting to look at athletes in wrestling and trying to help them out and trying to sponsor them and get them out there.
Is it something you like to kind of step back from the negotiations and let others do that for you?
Yeah.
I have two agents myself, and I'd rather have them negotiate my deals than me do it because I'm always willing to settle.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's one of the biggest things. You really don't know what you're worth because you don't know what's out there yet. This is a new area for wrestling. So I have my brother Frankie. He does a lot of the negotiations and getting the deals and the contracts out there for me, and he'll run them by me. We'll talk, and we go from there.
Let's go back to Tony Hager.
You just got to deal with for headgears. Talk about that company and what they've been, what they're going to bring to the table in the headgear game.
Yeah, the company is called Danmar Warrior. They produced a lot of Cliff Keen's headgears before they went overseas and started having foreign countries do it. So now they're based in Michigan. They make the exact same headgear as Cliff Keen, but everything's made in the USA. I like supporting America and I like supporting the USA, and that's a big deal to me. So they're doing all that for us, and now what they're starting to do is they're going to make signature headgears for all of us. It's me, Kyle Dake, Adeline Gray, Helen Maroulis right now. They're going to put our signature on the straps, and you can order any headgear you want in any color, and you can pick your team's color, and part of the proceeds are going to go to us, whoever's name they want on the headgear.
Let's talk about this, your Super Bowl debut on advertising. Nice little video, and I'm hearing that you were on the Grammys last night too.
Yeah, that's what I heard. I got a text from Metcalf last night saying that your second commercial came on. And I was like, what commercial? He goes, the other dentist one. It was before the Grammys. So, it was a fun thing to do. The University of Iowa Dental Department, they've really taken care of me over the past 5 years. With my 2 fake teeth that I have always getting knocked out. They get me in as fast as they can. I'll text them, hey, my tooth's out. All right, come in tomorrow. We'll put it back in. So, they thought it'd be a good idea to have an athlete like me and someone that they really work on all the time, for their commercial.
We're talking with Titan Mercury Wrestling Club, Hawkeye Wrestling Club team member Tony Ramos. You folks out there have to appreciate his style, what he's been able to do. I tell you what, I want to talk a little bit about Iowa going into Penn State. The team obviously came away with a win, close victory for sure. But when you are a Hawkeye wrestler and on the road, people hate on you. And in your case, you drew the boos. The boo birds were out every time you went onto the mat. Did that fire you up?
I loved it. I mean, I've said it before. Wrestling needs characters. Wrestling needs, people with a villain or a hero image. And it's just going to help build a sport because, like I said, it gives someone something to cheer for. And, Mike Tyson, he said it best if you read his book. He loved being the villain because for there to be a hero, there has to be a villain. The hero, he beats the villain. He overcomes the villain, and everyone always remembers who that villain was. So, people can look at it as a good thing or a bad thing. I look at it as a good thing.
Are you the monster in the closet?
I think so. They quoted me saying that after, I think it was my sophomore year at the NCAA final, or the NCAAs when I beat John Morrison in the quarterfinals.
I like that. And by the way, your hat with that red hat that I've seen the kids wearing with the green Tony Ramos figure in the middle.
I actually got one right next to me right now.
No, you don't. You gonna put it on?
I got my lime green and navy one, which is actually gonna be the colors that I'm gonna use for Aegon for my new singlet and for the walkout T-shirts.
Who makes the lids for you?
I actually designed them. Richard Sins prints them up, and Ironside is the one who gets it all done for me. So he carries all my gear at his store.
All right, so one of those is in the mail to me, right?
Yeah, we can get one out.
I'm not asking for a lot, but by God, it would be good looking hanging on my wall here, and Hager would just be drooling over it every single day. So
Yeah.
let's talk a bit about singlets. I know that the last time we saw you compete, the Paris Grand Prix, you were in a Tight Mercury Wrestling Club, Hawkeye Wrestling Club combined singlet. What are you going to be wearing as for in terms of a singlet for the Aegon 5?
It's going to be pretty much, I like those Cliff Keen singlets that they make, those new sublimated ones. So it's going to be Cliff Keen singlet. Definitely it's going to have Hawkeye Wrestling Club and the Titan Mercury logo on it because, those are my clubs. And that was a big deal to me to have HWC and Titan Mercury on my singlets when I compete. But right now there's a lot of open space because, if it is going to be on live TV, we want to get sponsors out there, and we're going to be hopefully selling spots on the singlet to sponsors. So, if anyone's interested in that route, they can get a hold of me, or we can find a way to get that done.
And do that probably at TRAM133?
Yeah, they can do it at my Twitter name, or they can do it at my email, which is Anthony.Ramos57kg@gmail.com.
I think Takedown is scheduled to be on the singlet somewhere.
I think they might
I know
be
where I
too.
don't want it. Yeah, I know where I don't want it, and I know where I'd like it. But we'll see where you get it. Tony Ramos has been our guest. Tony, what do you want to say to your fans out there? And then we'll throw it over to Tony one last time. What do you want to say to your fans out there that have been following you? Obviously, once you get past the colors, once you get past the being a University of Iowa wrestler or a Penn State wrestler, it's probably easier for fandom to get behind you. What do you want to say to those folks?
I just want to say thank you for always supporting me and, just supporting wrestling in general. One thing I did when I was in college and now is I always went out and competed hard, and it's really hard for fans not to like someone who competes hard. So, I appreciate all the support I get. It doesn't matter what team, you're a fan of. And I appreciate everyone who goes out and buys my gear and wears it around. It helps, me live the dream, and it funds my dream of trying to be a world and Olympic champion.
If you want to see Tony's recent dental commercial that aired on the Grammys, you can catch it on our Twitter feed as well, at Takedown Radio. We just tweeted that out. We think it's good. I don't know how many takes it took you, but you look pretty darn comfortable in front of the camera.
It took a couple times, but I think my major in theater arts really helped me out.
Is that what your major was, at theater arts?
My major was theater arts.
And did you dance across the stage at the EC Maybe Theater?
I was on the stage a few times, but I didn't do any plays. I did more of the lighting and, that kind of behind-the-scenes stuff.
It's another thing you and I have in common. I was on that stage as well in A Midsummer Night's Dream. If you want to see boring, go back and look at that show.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go to Tony Hager. Tony?
Tony, as a father myself, you've got one on the way. Are you guys going to find out if we're going to have a little wrestler in there, or what's your guys' plans?
Oh, we already know what it is. It's going to be a little boy.
Well, congratulations, man.
Thank you.
I'm sure he'll have some Tony Ramos headgear when he comes out. See if they can make him a small
Well,
little
probably
pair.
not when he comes out. Probably after he comes out. We'll dry him out. He's going to have a little singlet, little shoes, a little headgear. He's probably going to have a big, beautiful black head of hair.
Oh, yeah. We'll see what happens. If he wants to wrestle, he'll wrestle. If he wants to do something else, he'll go and do something else.
All right, so Aegon 5 taking place Cedar Rapids, Iowa, April 3rd or 4th, and you're going to want to be there at the U.S. Cellular Center. Tickets are anticipated to go on sale here quickly, and they will go fast. You want to be there for this legendary bout that's been years in the making. Tony Ramos will face Olympic gold medalist Henry Cejudo, and should I say future Olympic gold medalist Tony Ramos will face the Olympic medalist Henry Cejudo. Tony, you excited about this?
Clearly, yes.
You-
I'm excited to see a lot of Iowa wrestlers back on the mat. There's been rumors that there's lots of them, so we already know who's on the bout sheets right now for a few of them. So I'm excited in the coming weeks to hear more of them coming out.
Tony Ramos has been our guest. Tony, final words from you other than thanks? I don't know.
Thank my sponsors, A6, Danmar, Flips Wrestling. Without them, a lot of this wouldn't be made possible.
Dude, this is one guy I would stand next to on the podium any single day. T. Ram, it's good talking with you, brother. Thanks. Congratulations on your performance overseas. We'll look forward to many of those. The World Team trials will be coming up in Madison, Wisconsin. The World Cup in Los Angeles, April 12th, 13th, something like that.
Yep.
Going to be watching you in performance on your way to another opportunity to take on the world at the World Championships. Those will be held in Las Vegas as well, all stateside this year, which means a little bit of extra weight goes toward Team USA. Then I have to travel so hard.
Oh, yeah.
Wrestle in front of USA fans. I love it. Appreciate the time, bud. Best of luck.
Thanks a lot.
Best to your wife as well in the coming of the new baby.
All right. See you guys.
Tony Ramos has been our guest.